Let me paint a picture. It's the end of the month. You open your banking app. You've got just enough left to cover everything. And then, click, your automatic transfer goes through. $500. Gone. Straight into savings or investments. And you sit there for a second thinking, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I'm being responsible. Because look, saving $500 a month is not easy. That's saying no to trips. That's skipping upgrades. That's ignoring people who say you should enjoy life more. And yet, 3 years go by, maybe 5, and your life doesn't feel meaningfully different. Rent's higher. Groceries are insane now. Insurance went up again. Your emergency fund barely feels like an emergency fund anymore. And the thought creeps in. Why does it feel like this still isn't enough? Why am I saving consistently and still stressed? Is $500 a month just outdated advice? If that thought has crossed your mind even once, yeah, this video is for you. My name is Jack, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, inflation, and why doing everything right financially still feels like it's not working. If you're someone who is saving every month but still feels behind, anxious, or financially stuck, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Because today, we're talking about something that almost nobody explains properly. Why saving $500 a month, which used to be a huge deal, no longer guarantees progress. Not because you're lazy, not because you're bad with money, but because of something I call the inflation gap. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Here's the thing. Most personal finance advice is built on one silent assumption. If you save consistently, you'll eventually get ahead. And for decades, that was true. But here's what most people don't realize. That advice was created in a world where housing costs grew slowly, inflation was mild and predictable, wages rose roughly in line with productivity, and big expenses didn't ambush you every 6 months. We are not in that world anymore. We are in a world where costs compound faster than paychecks, stability is rare, and doing the same thing every month doesn't mean you're making progress. And this is where it gets really interesting, because most people respond to this by blaming themselves. I should be saving more. I should be more disciplined. I must be doing something wrong. But the math tells a very different story. Let's ground this in reality. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, overall inflation between 2020 and 2024 totaled roughly 22%. But that headline number is misleading, because inflation doesn't hit everything equally. According to Zillow and Case-Shiller Index, housing costs rose 30% to 40% in many metro areas. USDA data, grocery prices rose 25% to 30%. Kaiser Family Foundation, health insurance premiums rose faster than wages. Federal Reserve, real wage growth has been mostly flat when adjusted for inflation. So here's the real problem. Your biggest expenses are inflating faster than the average inflation rate, which means even if your savings is growing, your financial floor is rising faster. That gap between what you save and what life costs is the inflation gap. Let's slow this down and do real math. Saving $500 a month means $6,000 per year, $60,000 over 10 years, no growth. Now let's be generous. Let's say you invest that money and earn 7% annually, which is roughly the long-term average of a diversified stock portfolio. After 10 years, you'd have about $83,000. That sounds good, until we adjust for inflation. At just 3% inflation, that $83,000 has the purchasing power of about $61,000. Meaning, 10 years of discipline, 10 years of saying no, 10 years of being responsible, and your real gain is roughly $1,000 a year. Now imagine inflation runs hotter, like it has recently. This is why it feels like nothing is changing, because functionally, it isn't. Now you might be thinking, okay, but $83,000 is still money. Why do I feel so behind? Because humans don't experience money logically, we experience it relatively. 3 psychological forces are hitting you at once. 1. Lifestyle inflation without lifestyle improvement. Your costs go up, rent, food, insurance, but your quality of life doesn't improve. Psychologically, this feels like regression. Your brain says, if I'm sacrificing, I should feel progress. When you don't, motivation drops. 2. Moving goalposts anxiety. The number that once felt like security keeps changing. $10,000 used to feel like safety. Now it barely covers a few months. Your brain hates unstable targets. 3. Delayed gratification fatigue. You're constantly postponing enjoyment for a future that feels further away. This creates financial burnout, and burned out savers don't quit because they're irresponsible. They quit because the reward system is broken, because the problem isn't that $500 a month is bad. The problem is that $500 a month is static in a system that is dynamic. Inflation compounds, housing compounds, healthcare compounds. But most people's savings strategy doesn't. They choose a number once, often in their early 20s, and emotionally lock onto it. Psychologists call this anchoring bias. Your brain says, this amount worked before, so it should still work. But money doesn't care about anchors. Let's talk about housing, because this is where the inflation gap becomes brutal. In 2019, median U.S. home price approximately $320,000. In 2024, median U.S. home price approximately $420,000 plus. That's a $100,000 increase. Now think about this. If you're saving $6,000 a year toward a down payment, housing prices are rising faster than your savings. You're not chasing a dream, you're chasing a moving target, and psychologically, that's exhausting. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Jack, so what? Am I just screwed unless I make six figures? No. And this is where bad advice loses people, because the answer isn't save more in isolation. The answer is change how your money interacts with time. Here's what most people don't realize. There are only 3 levers that matter. Lever first, savings must be dynamic. Saving $500 forever doesn't work. Saving a growing percentage does. If you start at 10% and increase it by 1% every 6 months, something powerful happens. Your lifestyle adjusts gradually. Your brain doesn't rebel. Your savings compounds emotionally and financially. Action step. Tie savings increases to raises, bonuses, or job changes. Never let income growth fully convert into lifestyle growth. Lever second, income growth beats frugality. You can only cut expenses so far. You cannot cut inflation, but income scales. According to the Social Security Administration, people who change employers every 2 to 3 years earn 30 to 50% more over a decade than those who stay put. Action step. Treat your career like a portfolio. Optimize for skill growth, not comfort. Ask, what skill increases my earning power in 12 to 24 months? Lever third, ownership over storage. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Saving alone doesn't build wealth. Ownership does. Cash sitting still loses value. Assets that scale gain it. Action step. Invest automatically. Reinvest raises. Delay lifestyle upgrades until assets upgrade first. I had a friend. Disciplined, no debt, solid saver. Saved $400 to $600 a month for years. On paper, perfect. But his savings stayed stuck around $35,000. Why? Because every time he gained momentum, rent increased, car repairs hit, medical expenses popped up. The breakthrough wasn't saving harder. It was changing the system, higher income, earlier investing, letting time do the work. 5 years later, same discipline, completely different outcome. Here's the reframe. The goal isn't saving $500 a month. The goal is beating inflation consistently. That requires flexible targets, income momentum, asset ownership, emotional endurance. Because this system rewards motion, not stagnation. If you're saving $500 a month right now, hear this clearly. You are not failing. You are not behind. You are not irresponsible. You're operating with outdated rules in a harder system. But once you understand the inflation gap, something changes. You stop blaming yourself and start adjusting the strategy. So here's your call to action. 1. Convert savings goals into percentages. 2. Plan your next income move, even if it's uncomfortable. 3. Make sure your money is invested, not just stored. If this video put words and math to something you felt for years, hit subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and stick around. Because money isn't about guilt. It's about clarity. And clarity changes everything.